What's up, everybody? It's Friday once again. Welcome, everyone, to Kiss Meets Podcast 4K, the Crazy Kiss Countdown. You wanted the best. I am one of your hosts, Eli Clausen.
And I'm Luke Neely.
And we are here to finally finish up the official part of the discography with the Monster album. Damn, Space Ron, you beat us to the punch this week. What's up, man?
Yeah.
Good to be back. We unfortunately had to take another week off. It just kind of popped up, but we're back. Ready to get back to it. Love doing what we do. So, here we go with that. So yeah, I hope everyone's doing great. Hope everyone had a great Memorial Day weekend, all that good crap. Enjoying all the noisy ass cicadas in your area of the country if you have them. All right, so this is so not only are we wrapping up the discography today, but this is a pretty exciting day to be a Kiss fan, to be honest. More so than others. So today the official Off the Soundboard live recording from 2001 officially dropped today. That is available on your digital platforms, your physical media, all that good stuff. What's up, David? How you doing? I did purchase it digitally, but I'm definitely wanting to pick up the vinyl version, so I'm trying to keep myself from listening to it until I get to pick that up. I'm hoping I can get out there maybe this weekend, tomorrow being record store day too, on top of that. Maybe be able to find it somewhere. But not only that, today Kiss is performing tonight at the Tribeca Film Festival, where they're doing the screening for the upcoming documentary that we're all going to see on A&E. So very exciting. So probably by the time we sign off on this podcast, they'll be just about ready to take the stage, I'd imagine. I was hoping maybe there would be a way to live stream it or something, but I'm sure they'll, as usual, there'll be some kind of YouTube videos that pop up or something that from someone that attended anyway. So so it's a very exciting day for us Kiss fans. We got a lot going on, a lot new releases, and their first performance since New Year's Eve, and so yeah, this is awesome. And then here we are, wrapping up the discography, kind of all fitting how that works out again. So a lot to catch up on, of course. So we'll get into our polls and everything, and if we have any comments, and then of course at the end of the show, we'll let you guys know what's coming next, just in case you might have forgot, as we've mentioned it throughout, the past shows here and there. Definitely some what's coming next as far as music-wise, and then some other plans that we may be scheming up for you. So let's waste no more time, and let's just get on into her and go from there.
Yeah. All right. So let's start with comments from last, not really last week's episode. You guys know what we mean. On the Sonic Boom episode, we have a few comments and some new names. Very exciting to see some new names that aren't just porn links. So much appreciated. Yes. We have a comment from Mick Watkins, who said August of 2007 was the recording of the Kiss Classics bonus disc.
So
thanks for the clarification of that. Yeah, yes. Nonetheless.
Yeah, I think we might have discussed like when was it recorded, but I lost your video again, but I can hear you. Cool. Here he comes.
Very strange. I didn't drop out one time last week, did I?
No, last time we did it, I think everything was perfect, yeah.
I wonder what the deal is. Okay, so comment from Todd. Todd said, if it's too loud, you're too old. Along with the tank was on the back of the Lick It Up shirt I had back in the day. Not sure going off of memory, but I also think that was on the back of the Creature shirt. Take off your clothes and feel my tower of power should have been edited out of the songs. Just fine with Backbone Slip. It's a Genism by now. Stop the Lightning is a Thayer written song from Black and Blue's second album, so he'd done that before.
Didn't catch that because we did cover that album too, and
Yeah,
just totally overlooked that.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think you're right about the with that same thing being on the Creature shirt. I know for sure it had the tank on it as well, and more than likely it probably had that quote, which is perfect.
Absolutely, yeah. So yes, very glad to see comments from Mick and Todd. Thanks, guys, for chiming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, we also
so
have...
now we're getting comments from the actual porn stars, not just the links.
Exactly, yes. Also got a comment from our good friend Thomas, Rain in Adamstown, for our longtime viewers. Thomas says, I am surprised that you still haven't had any gray hair as long as the last podcast has been. Yeah. Maybe next week, haha. Nice to have you back. Sonic Boom is a great album. Love the music, the packaging looks good, and the production is very good for a Kiss album. Paul's vocals lost a little bit of brilliance, but all in all, the singing was good. I give the album a 9. 6 of the 10 songs are perfect for me. Excuse me. Modern Day Delilah, Russian Roulette, Never Enough, Yes I Know, Hot and Cold, and Say Yeah. Proud of the boys that they still keep it in the set list. One of my top 10 Kiss songs for sure. Danger Us has a horrible refrain and is the worst song on Sonic Boom. Other 5 are all very good. All in all, I love the album. And then they lost their ears, haha. Here, or better not, the production and mastering on Monster. More on that next week or year, he says in parentheses.
Or year.
He did give us his top 3, which from number 1 to number 3 is Say Yeah, Modern Day Delilah, and Russian Roulette. He says, you are right. The concerts at Rock AM Ring and Rock AM Park both were fantastic. That was a great weekend. 2 Kiss shows in one weekend. This are major pop rock festivals, and it was nice to see this young audience freaking out while Kiss played. And to be honest, it was much better than the farewell tour. Edit, I'm no AC/DC fan, and the only album I love is Flick the Switch, but Power Up is very, very good. I have probably listened to it 15 times and still enjoy it. That is a lot for a band that normally doesn't interest me at all.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wasn't disappointed when I listened to that album. I mean, I'm like, hey, it's what I expected. It's that typical AC/DC, but maybe a bit more, towards the old school style. And I think I do deserve, the album does deserve to be listened to again. I think I should at some point. Maybe then, at least one or two of the songs may catch me a little more. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't like disappointed listen. It was just at the time nothing really caught me to be like, oh, I need to listen to that song again or anything. But that always changes, of course, the more you listen to things, just as we've learned on this show itself. So
very true.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. So as always, Thomas, thanks for the comment. We always enjoy seeing you on there. So let's jump over to polls real quick. Let me see. I didn't highlight this time. So we got the 3 from last week, but then we also need the 6 from the week before that. Should be that right there. Okay, guys. So in case you're a brand new viewer, if you don't know, we also have a Facebook page, Kiss Meets the Podcast. Just type that into the search, jump over, and if you wouldn't mind, we would really appreciate the follow or the like, however Facebook has that set up this particular week. We really appreciate everybody on there. We also have a secret group. No, I'm sorry, not a secret group, a private group called Kiss Meets the Podcast Group. If you search that, we do require that you send a request to join the group, but we approve everybody, so don't worry about that. Get in that group right now, because one of our favorite things to do in there is post matches, polls, huge tournaments that we do. Right now, we are nearing the end of a tournament where we've pitted all of the Kiss live songs against each other to figure out what is the ultimate Kiss live song. We just wrapped up round 3 last week. We're doing the last second chance round, where one of our loser songs gets to get back into the running for round 4. We want as many votes as possible. So guys, get in there, vote on your favorite songs, let us know what you think. We definitely want to hear your feedback. So let's talk some results of the polls. A couple of weeks ago, we posted 6 matches for round 3, and the results are as follows. We had Deuce from Alive 3 versus Heavens on Fire from Alive 3. Deuce takes it with 55%, a very close match. We had Going Blind from MTV Unplugged versus I Want You from Alive 2. I Want You takes it with 79%. Hard Luck Woman from Alive 2 versus Firehouse from Alive. Firehouse takes that with 60%. We had one of the Kick in the Balls matches last week, Black Diamond from Alive versus She from Alive. And this one did not come out as close as I expected. Black Diamond takes it, but with 62%.
Wow.
Yeah. I expected that one to be a little closer to 50-50, honestly.
Yeah, totally. Especially just, with Ace's solo alone, you think would have definitely doubled the chances with She.
Right. Another Kick in the Balls match we had, I Stole Your Love from Alive 2 versus 100,000 Years from Alive. Now, this one was more as expected. 100,000 Years does take the win, but with 52%, just barely getting through.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm glad to see that one pull through, though.
Yes, absolutely. Both of those, I think, could have possibly won the whole thing. So interesting to see them up against each other. We also had Sure Know Something from Alive 4 versus Beth from MTV Unplugged. Beth takes this one with 75%.
Very shocking in a way.
Right. Especially at that high of a margin. And then finally, for that particular week's results, we had the final Kick in the Balls, which was Shock Me from Alive 2 versus Creatures of the Night from Alive 3. Ouch. Shock Me did take that with 64%. So again, not a very close match there.
Crazy.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so last week, the week we took off, we posted the final 3 matches of round 3. These weren't, there was only one in there that at least I think was a real hard pick. You guys have to let us know if you agreed here. We had Domino from MTV Unplugged versus Deuce from Alive. Deuce did take that one with 85%. We had See You Tonight from MTV Unplugged versus Sure Know Something from MTV Unplugged. Sure Know Something takes that with 70%. I expected that one to be a little closer. Honestly, I would have given that to See You Tonight. I was surprised to see it lose and so badly at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the final one, the one that was pretty difficult, Let Me Go Rock and Roll from Alive versus Cold Gin from Alive. Keeping in mind that Cold Gin actually was the winner of our previous second chance round. It had already lost and gotten voted back in. Unfortunately, it has now been voted back out. Let me Go Rock and Roll takes it with 57%.
Well, Cold Gin, yeah, gave an effort, I guess.
It did. And that did still put Cold Gin in our top-rated loser songs, although since it's already been voted back in, it was not eligible for the second chance round a second time. So let's talk about that. What you can go vote on right now if you go over to Kiss Meets the Podcast group on Facebook. We have one single match today, just the round 3 second chance round, where we have taken the top-rated 6 songs that lost their respective matches, pitted them against each other, and you get to pick one of those 6 to get back in the running for round 4. This is the last second chance round for this tournament, so we definitely got to make this one count and get a good one back in there to go up against the rest of the songs. The 6 that you can vote on right now: I Stole Your Love from Alive 2, Psycho Circus from Kiss Rocks Vegas, Shandy from Alive 4, Heavens on Fire from Alive 3, A World Without Heroes from MTV Unplugged, and finally Lick It Up from Alive 3.
And I believe I Stole Your Love is currently in the lead, last I looked. And that's definitely my pick as well.
Yep. Same. And it is actually our the top rated losing song at the moment. So it would be fairly appropriate for it to come back in.
Absolutely. What's going on, Scott? Your two favorite people are here.
Yeah. Yeah, so guys, get over onto the Facebook page, get your votes in for that second chance round, and next week starts round 4. We are almost done with this tournament. The rounds are going to start going faster and faster. There's only 6 or maybe 9 matches in this round 4, so better get in while it's getting good.
Yeah, this tournament's definitely going a lot faster than the first one, but I don't want to spoil anything, but you'll see.
Yes, you will. Oh man! All right, so album info. Then we ready for that now?
I think so.
Nice.
I'll tell you one thing: they lie on the hype sticker. No filler, no, just full throttle. I don't know about that. Uh-oh, lost you. Audio.
The audio?
There you are. There you
Hello! Are. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. So Monster is the 20th studio album by Kiss. This album was released October 9th, 2012, recorded from April 13th, 2011, all the way to January 6th, 2012, one of the longest times it's taken Kiss to record an album, which is strange. This was recorded at Conway Recording Studios in Hollywood, California, and also the Nook in Studio City, Los Angeles. This album was produced, just like Sonic Boom, by Paul Stanley and Greg Collins. Let's see. As far as personnel, nice and simple again, just like Sonic Boom. Paul Stanley, vocals and rhythm guitar. Gene Simmons, vocals and bass. Tommy Thayer, lead guitar and vocals. Eric Singer, drums and vocals, and then we also have Brian Whalen, who played a small piano part on Freak, which I was even specifically listening for and didn't hear. So
yeah, same here.
Yeah, lots of help. He was there. This did get up to number 3 on the U.S. Billboard 200, which is pretty good as far as chart position. This album has not been certified even gold or anything. It's kind of strange. I don't know if it's just not old enough. I don't know. That does seem strange. Of course, we have reached the digital age by this point in Kiss's career.
True.
Like we were talking about earlier, they talked this album up a lot. The Wikipedia page on this album it has several quotes from band members in interviews about this record where they're talking about Tommy Thayer is saying they wanted to make a heavier album than Sonic Boom, and they wanted to recreate the vibe that existed on the band's earlier material. Gene Simmons says, "This is like Destroyer, Revenge, and Sonic Boom had a baby." Paul says, this is the best work we've done since the original lineup. Far beyond anything we've done in terms of Sonic Boom, Paul says. So, wow. Singles are Hell or Hallelujah and Long Way Down. We also had a Japan bonus exclusive track called Right Here, Right Now, which I did not remember until reading this Wikipedia page. I have never heard that song.
I always forget about that because they actually put out a lyric video for that song.
Okay, well maybe I did watch that then.
Yeah, and I always forget that was. We lost your video. I always forget that wasn't included on the original album, or at least here in the States. And again, it's like, why not just put it on the album in general? Why is it only on the Japanese release? And
yep. Why does Japan always get the bonus tracks? I don't understand.
Right. Why? All right, so jumping into the album here. So we open up with Hell or Hallelujah. This is number 2. And to make it short and sweet, this is pretty much the brother song to Modern Day Delilah in a way, and that's the way I kind of look at it. I mean, once again, we're starting off with a Paul song. It's kind of got that same kind of straightforward rock that modern day Delilah has. But this is also another one that, yes, I know this is even newer than modern day Delilah, but I feel like this song is starting to become a bit of that Kiss classic already, even though they haven't performed it quite as much as I felt maybe they should have, especially in recent years. But yeah, I mean, it's got that catchy hook and just that typical straightforward Kiss sound that you kind of expected. So it's definitely a good way to start the album. I'm surprised they never tried to figure out a way to open the shows with this song, since they did it with Delilah and other stuff like that. But
Yeah.
It would have been interesting. But yeah, like I said, they performed it mostly on the Monster tour, but ever since then, it seems like they haven't really touched it. And even here on the farewell tour, at least last that we knew, they were playing stuff like "Say Yeah" instead of "Hell or Hallelujah." But I would rather have "Hell or Hallelujah," and to be honest, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, another hell of a opener to the album, and good Kiss rocker.
Definitely. Yep, this is number one for me. Just instant classic. I remember thinking that when they released the music video for this song. For me, it didn't take any time at all for this song. I was like, wow, boy, if the whole album's like that, they really have done something. Not as good a song as That's the Kind of Sugar Papa Likes, but other than that, I mean, the riff is great. Paul's vocals sound good. I'm instantly reminded of all the positive things I said about Sonic Boom. You can clearly hear the four guys playing and singing. Tommy's solo, great on this song. No ace tricks, just great solo, straightforward.
Yeah, that is true. Now, when you say that, there wasn't any instances on this album that I was like, oh, there's little ace nods and things like we were saying on Sonic Boom. So
yep,
he definitely kind of becomes more into his own on this album for sure.
Right.
Next is Wall of Sound, number 6 for me. I felt like this was kind of the attempt at another I'm an Animal in a way. Like, I'll say more like the first part of the song, like say the intro into the first verse and chorus, but after that it does change a bit. But again, not anywhere close to Animal for me. But again, we had that whole chemistry with the Paul song followed by a Gene song, just like Sonic Boom. So again, it was just kind of that same feel, as far as the way the album's laid out so far. But yeah, other than that was about all I cared for out of the song. Was just that, like I said, up until like say the first verse chorus, it kind of lost me after that. But I could tell it was going for that feel of like another Animal or something.
Right. Yeah, pretty similar here. Number 7 for me. I remember disliking this song, but it caught me better on this listen through a lot. It's a good song, very much in the style of Gene's stuff from Sonic Boom. Although I do like this better than Yes I Know, Nobody's Perfect, at least.
Yeah.
Maybe not as good a song as That's the Kind of Sugar Papa Likes, but again, though, another great solo from Tommy.
Is that going to be your reference on every song?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Remember, guys, he's in a very hot room, so he may not realize what he's saying at times.
Yeah. Yes.
Freak. Speaking of Luke, next is Freak, number 4 here. Oh God, I'm kind of back and forth with this song. It's like I kind of like what they're talking about, because it's kind of another one of those, like, people that would pick on you or whatever, for being a Kiss fan, when you were younger, or maybe still do today, who knows. So you kind of get labeled as an outcast, or you feel like an outcast until you meet other people that share that same love and all that as you do. So I get that. I do like that kind of message about the song, but I don't know. Um, there's other parts of the song that I just don't understand, like why they even put it in there, and it just kind of brings it down for me from what it could have been. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, yeah. This is not one of my favorites. Number 11. Man, what is with the reverb on the drums all of a sudden? Just for this one song, it pushes them even further into the background when they were already too quiet to begin with. I feel like the chorus is cool and it's catchy, but the production just kills this one. It sounds like a mess. It's
Mm-hmm.
not anywhere as clear as That's the Kind of Sugar Papa likes. Although I don't mind the Pledge of Allegiance part.
See, I didn't even want to say it. I was going to let you bring that up.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
want to
don't
sit here.
I don't mind it. I feel like there suddenly the drums were really clear and the vocals had that radio effect and they sounded more normal for some reason. I don't know. I don't know that I like that it happened twice, and I don't know that it really makes any sense for the lyrical content of the song.
But what exactly is the state of independence?
No idea.
Well,
Paul doesn't have a map, I guess.
one album we gave pledge allegiance to the state of rock and roll. Now we're giving pledge allegiance to the state of independence, and
Clearly does not own a map.
Then we're putting the Star Spangled Banner in the middle of random songs. And
right, yeah.
Javier, what's up, brother? Good
How's
to see you.
going?
All right, so next up is Back to the Stone Age. No, I didn't mess up and start reading the titles of a Flintstones album. This is for real. Number 10, it's another one of those that for some reason, just like with the one on Sonic Boom, the title just bugs the crap out of me. And that's part of the reason I ranked it where I did as well. I know that may not seem fair, but it's just how it rubs me the wrong way. As far as now the song itself, like I'll give it a little bit of credit. Gene's bass on there is a bit powerful. That especially that intro thing, you kind of hear that growling bass tone and all that crap. But again, too much of a repetitive chorus and everything. It's like, come on, this isn't the killer that you guys are advertising on the front of the album. Come on, guys. I'm sorry, but yeah, 10.
Yeah, definitely agreed. This is 12 for me, dead last. Which is weird because the riff is okay, the chorus is pretty catchy. It's an upbeat song, unlike That's the Kind of. But again, the production just kills it. It feels like a wall of sound, ironically, but not in a good way. And yeah, I completely agree. The lyrical content, it's just dumb. I don't understand the reference. And I know that when they went about crafting the songs for Sonic Boom and Monster as well, they did a lot of research as far as what makes a good Paul song and what makes a good Gene song. And you're telling me that after that research, that's Back to the Stone Age is what they came up with for what makes a good Gene song?
Right. Singing basically a caveman song. And why would anybody want to go back to the Stone Age? And what are we doing in the Stone Age? Why are we going back to the Stone Age anyway?
Yeah, it beats me.
Oh, Lord. I'm going to have to do research because I'd like to find an article where they kind of explain the meaning behind these songs like they've done in the past with other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They probably haven't.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious to hear what the hell they say this song is about. Anyway, we go from that to even worse. Shout Mercy. This is my number 12, so dead last. Honestly, I don't really have anything to say about the song because it just totally lost my attention span. I was sitting here texting on the phone and doing things like that while this song came on, and I just completely lost all attention to that song, and it just had nothing that I can recall or tell you that, oh, it did this or did that. It was that much of a blob of shit, to put it bluntly. So, so dead last for a reason there. Thanks, Scott. Scott's getting his rankings in here. So thank you.
Sweet. Yeah, I'll definitely get that in. So essentially what you're saying is you would have rather listened to That's the Kind of Sugar Papa Liked.
Absolutely. I had to listen to that 4 times in a row before this song. And guess what? Even if I was texting, I'd been singing right along because it would have still had. I would have been doing the double task there.
That's pretty funny. This song I remember disliking too. I have that memory about most of these songs that I remember thinking, eh. To my own surprise, this one was ranked number 2 for me last time.
Well, let's see. That's what you get for ranking at number 2. Yep. That's what you get for ranking at number 2. See?
Yeah, apparently. Now I did rank it 3 this time. This one gives me Sonic Boom vibes a lot more than some of the others. Yeah, no kidding. This is one of my favorite choruses on the album too. Honestly, I don't remember liking this song, but apparently each time I hear it, I'm like, oh, all right. And then it pretty much goes without saying another awesome Tommy solo as well. I kind of wish Tommy had played on That's the Kind of Sugar Papa Liked.
So you rank this 2 again?
3.
Remember, people, it's hot.
It's hot.
Where are we at? Long Way Down. Number 7 for me. I don't know why, but I felt like they made. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but I felt like they made a video for this one too, or like another lyric video. But I'm probably wrong.
This was one of the singles, so they probably did.
It's so hot you're drooling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's that, or maybe I keep getting it mixed up with with that Japanese bonus track. But anyway, Long Way Down, number 7 again. I can't really tell you anything about this song, and I just listened to the album like a couple hours ago, and again, just nothing about this song was sticking out to me this time. And I mean, I'll just leave it at that because I really don't have anything to add for it.
Just getting Scott's votes put in there. Okay, good. Yeah, I definitely agree on this. This was number 10 for me. Paul showing his Led Zeppelin influence, I guess, which maybe is why they made it a single. The vocals sound really weird on this song, more than the others. I don't think it's the way Paul is singing. It sounds to me like something they did to it in the production, like a weird frequency is missing or something. Me personally, I definitely would not have picked this one as a single. I'm very surprised to see that.
Yeah, definitely other choices. I mean, it's hard enough, but there's other choices. It seems like it would have been a bit of a better choice.
Mm-hmm. I would have taken almost any other song.
Right. All right, so flipping over to side 2 here, we got Eat Your Heart Out, number 9. So we kind of alluded to this on the last episode about them kind of going out of the box and trying some different things, and this is definitely one of those songs because who would have expected when you flip over the record and I'll wait for Luke here. 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. I have to agree with you, Javier. I do agree with Javier on that. 1.5 is an awfully high ranking.
Wow.
Okay. 1 second, Ronnie. I'll get to your question here after we do this song. And then, Scott, thanks for the true confession already, so we'll definitely get to that later. So where was I at? So, yeah, so who would have thought whether you're, flipping the record over to side 2 and then, or just, listen to the CD, whatever way you listen to it, the next song comes on, starts with an acapella, damn near like almost like a barbershop quartet type of vocal thing to start it off with. Totally wasn't expecting that. Um, it's part of me kind of likes it because it is different, and you could definitely hear Eric. I feel like Eric's the more powerful voice on that whole part there.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, once it gets to the song itself, it just kind of loses everything. I mean, what's it about? What's the point? And then when they get to the chorus, that's obviously the bread. That's the sugar per se of the song. So it's like let's just write a bunch of crap around that chorus, and that's what's going to make this song good is that catchy chorus.
Yeah, definitely. Number 4 for me. I do really like that vocal intro. Just like you said, you're just not expecting it. And more than that, I like that it's the chorus of the song, but on the actual version of the song, it's nice and loud and professional. But the thing in the intro, it just sounds like maybe there was one mic in the room, and it's really just the 4 of them standing there doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that idea. I don't know if that is really how they did it, but I like that idea in my head a lot. This is a pretty typical Kiss riff, but having said that, I'd put this maybe on the bottom side of interesting things they've ever written guitar-wise. Having said that, though, Gene's vocal does bring it together pretty nicely. Other than that, I noticed for the first time, and then continue to notice throughout the rest of the album, a huge mastering fail in this song. I'm definitely, absolutely 100% hearing digital distortion, which is indicative of pushing the gain too hard against the ceiling on the limiter, which is the final stage of mastering, brickwalling.
Wow.
And worse than brickwalling, not even doing it right. At least when stuff is brickwalled, you still don't get that distortion. I couldn't believe I heard that. You're not hearing anything like that on friggin' That's the Kind of Sugar Papa Likes.
and for these guys to be making this kind of money to work on that album and for that kind of stuff to pass through and make it to the final product, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's almost disrespectful to the people, because it's almost like they just look at it like everyone else is stupid and doesn't know anything about that kind of stuff, so no one's going to catch it, because we're the only people that are good at our job and knows how to do this stuff. It's sometimes it kind of feels like that when those kind of situations arise. And
right,
Kiss ain't the only one guilty, obviously, because Metallica's had enough piles of crap that have been heavily brickwalled, and plenty of other music out there that has been that way too.
Absolutely.
So real quick here before we continue, Ronnie Parker asked a question. He says, what did you guys think of the accusation of Vinny thinking Gene and Paul might want him back in the band during the revenge writing sessions? That was. What do you think?
I would very much doubt that. Now, I did watch a lot of the episode with Mike Brunn where he's talking with Vinny, and Vinny was alluding to that sort of stuff. And I gotta say, the way Vinny said it didn't hit me as negatively as some of the articles that have written about it since did. They made it sound much more like Vinny was being, like you said, accusatory or really forward and aggressive, and that's not the way I took it at all. It seemed like he was saying, we were working together so well, it felt like I was back in the band. Now, he did at one point say, I think I could have been back in the band if I had asked. I still personally doubt it. They had had a pretty good rapport with Bruce at that point, as opposed to the pretty negative one with Vinny. I can't see them screwing Bruce to get Vinny back.
Absolutely. I think you hit it on the head with what you said, because, again, the media likes to misconstrue words and put out those clickbait headlines to make it sound one way, and I think that's pretty much it. Is like you said, like they were getting along when it came to that writing stage at that time, and had he have asked, maybe, but I'm sure they would have respectfully turned him down. But I'm sure they also would have waited until they were done writing everything, because they probably didn't want him to turn around and walk out in the middle of the album before it's complete. So
Right.
they wanted to get all that help they could on the albums. But great question, Ronnie. Though I did see some stuff flying around recently about that. Also, while I'm thinking about it, not to get far off field, and we'll get back into the album, but there was another thing that popped up that's been making the rounds on YouTube. There was a Japanese documentary about Gene that was put up, and I noticed that's been floating around. I believe it's called like the 70-year-old demon or something like that. Gene gives a lot of great backstage, behind the scenes access, and then of course there is a big part of it where they're showing a bunch of the live music from that Japan show. But then what I liked and thought was pretty cool was at the end, towards the end, they cut to where it's after the show, and they actually show Gene starting to take the makeup off, which that's like basically something we've never seen as far as I could tell. We've always seen plenty of videos of them putting makeup on, but not the process of taking it off. And and especially like with Luke and I, like having done and doing the Kiss tribute, it kind of it's even anyone else that does that, it's even more interesting in a way, because we have our ways of doing it, so it's like, how do they actually do it? So just throwing that out there too. If you guys haven't seen it, it's definitely floating around now on a few channels and everything on YouTube. So look that up, 70-year-old demon. So all right, back to the album here. Speaking of the demon, we got The Devil Is Me, number 8. Now, this is kind of part 2 of what I feel like is another attempt at trying to be I'm an Animal. Like I was saying earlier with Wall of Sound, that was kind of like the first part of it, but I feel like this song is really the whole enchilada, per se. Even though I ranked this one 8 and Wall of Sound was 6, but I felt like Devil Is Me came closer to that kind of Animal feel. But there was just something about it that I think it was just more Gene's delivery on this song. It's like it was lacking that aggression that it could have had and should have had. And, especially when you got again, you got a word like devil in the song, in the track. The title is what I'm trying to say. I'm so pissed off. Yeah, I when you're using devil or God of Thunder or I'm an Animal, stuff like that, I want to hear that demonic type Gene voice, and that's definitely lacking on here. So I think that's one reason it just knocked it down. And again, had they performed this song live, because I'm pretty positive they've never performed it live, not even on the cruises, maybe that would have done the song a little justice. But as far as I know, they have never performed this one, so we just have to take this horrible album version.
Yes. Yeah, I ranked this one number 5. Without a doubt, this is the demon song of the album. I like the song a lot. It's a pretty typical Gene song riff, but done well. And yeah, we complained last week about him not really being that growly on I'm an Animal, other than when they did it live. And this one, I feel like he's growling a bit more on this than he did on Sonic Boom. It's still not anywhere near his early days. I mean, definitely not what he did on That's the Kind of Sugar Papa Likes. But I appreciated that it at least sounded like he tried to put a little bit more. I wonder if if it's his age or something, he's just not capable of doing that without the I lost the word, being on stage, the excitement of being on stage,
Man, there was something I was watching, and I can't remember if it was that documentary, because I think I did watch a bit of the songs before I decided to skip it. It was either that or maybe it was something, but there was like a glimpse of when he was singing something. I heard a glimpse of that old Gene. Like, it's there. Like, I know you can do it. Pull it out. Like, I literally heard it for a small, second during one of those songs. And I wish I remember what exactly that was I was watching now, where I heard that. But I remember hearing that, and I was like, that sounded like 70s Gene right there. Just that little tiny like second of what he said.
Nice.
It's like, oh, it's still there.
Come back, please.
And I hate to keep sitting here sucking the teat of I'm an Animal, but especially that live version, but it's so good. Matter of fact, I watched it again just the other night because I just felt like watching it again. It was, Out of This World. So we get our second song by Tommy Thayer on a Kiss album. This is my number one. I know it was last time, and it is again this time. I love this. I think it's very fitting. Like we were saying earlier, Tommy's not really trying to do the nods to Ace on this album or make you think that it's Ace per se, if that's what they were sort of doing for like some of the Fairweather fans. This album, he's definitely all on his own. And I think this song definitely fits the character perfectly. It's got a great catchy chorus. I love the part kind of towards the end where it starts. I think it's like flange or something that gets added to the as he's singing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool part. Now my big gripe, because I talked about this on Sonic Boom, they rehashed that damn "You and Me Are Like TNT" line that Paul used in whatever that song was. So that kind of irked me. Like after catching that on the Sonic Boom, and I was like, wait a minute, like come on, like you could have wrote a little something different there. And not to mention, I totally forgot, but as far as Gene, I know we've already passed the song, but I don't even remember now because I don't care. But I'm so tired of hearing that backbone slip line and give me kiss or whatever, like he was saying, because he said a version, something along those same lines on Sonic Boom. And then of course there's that song on his Vault, Are You Ready, that he says it. So it's like, I feel like I've heard that line used so many times recently.
Yeah.
By Gene, it's like I'm so sick of that backbone slip, and it's not that clever. I'm sorry.
No.
But to get back on track of the subject, yeah, great. That's the only gripe I have about this song is the TNT line being rehashed. But yeah, it's just so catchy, and I think a lot of people just hesitate to give it credit because it's Tommy, and a lot of people have that whole thing against Tommy and Eric or whatever. But just listening to it as a fan of Kiss, it fits the band, it fits the character, and it is good straight up rock and roll. And this is one of them songs that does deliver on the what it's advertising on the front of the album, full throttle rock, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So number one again.
Nice. And number two for me, absolutely. Honestly, When Lightning Strikes and Out of This World are like highlight moments of the recent albums for me. Honest to God, both of those songs I really love. And then last week I complained a little bit about the lightning thing. This time, at least, it's still a spaceman thing, but this time it's a space. It's not Ace. It's spaceman thing.
Right.
Out of This World. The theme makes sense. Probably the best chorus on the whole album. So catchy. Good Lord. Again, I really enjoy Tommy's voice. It's not as like instantly recognizable as Ace's, but he has so much better pitch and tone.
Yeah.
And so many of these songs on this album are forgettable. You know what I mean? You're not going to get this stuff stuck in your head. But this song, it sets apart to me. This song and Hail or Hallelujah, just like That's the Kind of Sugar Papa like, set apart from the rest of the stuff. Sounds really
and then we lose. Yeah, I always get a bit of a chuckle with how Tommy has to like perfectly enunciate the word rocket. He's got to really get that T out. Midnight rocket. It's like, okay.
The frustration. Paul was like, "Can you enunciate a little more?" He didn't enunciate. Just a little more, please.
Javier says, "Don't you hesitate" is another beat to death saying in their songs. At least when they used "Don't you hesitate," it was good in songs. What?
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
I get what you mean about the "Don't you hesitate." I think he meant to
Yeah.
use a different term there, but
yeah.
I mean, yeah, they had a freaking song called "Don't You Hesitate," that was demoed back
Yeah.
in the 70s. I believe it's on the box set and all that. So,
Yeah. Well, another thing, I don't remember which song it's in, but Gene's "I Like It" thing.
Oh yeah,
is another thing they did on this album. They've done a lot before.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. All right, so just a couple more here. So now we have our next Eric Singer track, "All for the Love of Rock and Roll." Very similar, of course, to the track on Sonic Boom as far as titles go. And I believe they flip-flopped them this time because last time I believe we had Eric's song first, then Tommy's. So anyway, this is number 5. Again, I was listening to this thinking, the same thing. Like this is that kind of straightforward, rock and roll that I want to hear on a Kiss album. So this song, Tommy's song, Hell or Hallelujah, maybe like another track so far, are like what I want to hear. And so Eric definitely delivers. I definitely lean towards this song more than the one on Sonic Boom. I don't remember what I ranked it now on that episode, but it may have been about the same as what I ranked this one or whatever. But I do kind of lean towards this one, though, to be honest. It's definitely got that like out of any song on this album, it's got the most classic Kiss feel. I mean, it damn near sounds like it came right off of Rock and Roll Over or something. That whole riff and everything is kind of similar to Mr. Speed and whatnot, and maybe even Mainline for that matter, off Higher Than Hell. So to me, this definitely had that total feel and vibe of that classic Kiss sound too. So yeah. Good job again, Eric. Number 5.
Yeah. Number 8 for me. I kind of feel like they should have broken these songs up a bit better. Like put Tommy's earlier in the track listing or something, rather than just having the Paul Gene, Paul Gene, Paul Gene, Paul Gene, and then Tommy Eric, Paul Gene, Paul Gene. I kind of wish they would have broken them up a little bit. It would have been a nice break from the Paul Gene back and forth. I do really like this song, but this has something that it puts me off a little bit. And then Eric's song on Sonic Boom specifically didn't have this thing. This feels like a Catman song. Not that they don't do it justice. It's very early rock and roll or even R&B. This seems like something Peter would have sang. Which again, it's only a criticism in that last time we praised Eric's song for not sounding like something Peter would have done. He did his own thing. And then this time it seems like they went more for the When Lightning Strikes vibe, where they had to pretty clearly call back the Catman character personified by Peter. So again, it's a good song, like the song. But I hope it wasn't written like that on purpose because it was the Cat song,
Right. And thank God they didn't go to the ballad thing again because they could have done it on this album.
Yeah. Yeah.
Javier said he meant when they used "Don't You Hesitate," at least that saying was used in good songs. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, gotta get David Smith's votes in there too.
Yeah, David's getting his votes in. Thank you. All right, so we got 2 left here. "Take Me Down Below" is up next. This is number 3. This is the other one that I would say sums up the sound of the album that is what I expected. It's definitely got that good it's another good Paul rocker. It kind of reminds me of it's one of the ones on Sonic Boom. I'm the title's totally escaping me all of a sudden. But it kind of was giving me that type of vibe. Like, this song could have easily been on that album too. But yeah, this is I guess if I have to say a song kind of caught me different this time, it might be this one because I'm pretty sure I didn't rank this in my top 3 last time, and yeah, like I said, this time around it was catching me a little more, and it was just like, yeah, that's a good Paul rocking song right there. So um, good to hear that, but so yeah, that's it for that. And I agree with what you were saying. As far as the structure of the songs or the lineup, I think Out of This World or even Eric's song should have opened up side 2 instead
Yeah.
of Eat Your Heart Out. Would have probably made a better spot, and then maybe put Eat Your Heart Out like right here where Take Me Down Below is. Maybe put it second to last or something.
Absolutely. I've got this one at number 6, and yeah, I completely agree with you. Last time we did this, I ranked this one number 11. I don't know why it didn't catch me that time. This time, it has such a cool groove. Honestly, I was getting even earlier vibes than Sonic Boom for this. I feel like this could have sounded interesting on Hot in the Shade or even Revenge. It had that earlier Gene feel, and then of course the trade-off vocals. And let me tell you, I'm so glad every time we hear a song with trade-off Gene and Paul vocals, my brain wants to be like, they're trying to do Shout It Out Loud. This one is not like that at all. This one is absolutely, definitely not an anthem song, but they still did the trade-off. It's more like Spit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I really appreciated that they decided to do a trade-off song without trying to make it into the new Shout It Out Loud. Having said that, though, I continue to be distracted from an otherwise very solid song by horrible production.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, wrapping up this album, Last Chance. Number 11 for me, so next to last. Yeah, I mean, after the Tommy Eric and then Take Me Down Below, back to back to back, and then this song comes on, just totally, just to me, felt like a filler and a throwaway. And I'd have rather had, God, I keep forgetting the name of that Japanese track, but
Right Here, Right Now.
Yeah, I'd have rather just had that if anything, or if they didn't want to put it, if they just would not put it on the album period, then take this song off and just make it an 11 song album would have been just as fine too for me. But yeah, that's where I stand with Last Chance. It just, again, I had no care for it. It got to the point where I pretty much got up and left the room at one point because I was just that bored with it.
Yeah, I couldn't hum this song to you right now.
Exactly.
And yeah, it was literally the last thing I've listened to, and I couldn't hum it to you right now. Yeah. Number 9 for me. Now, I will say it's a cooler riff than I remember. I don't know about the Gene background vocal part. Another thing we talked a little bit about last week because he shoved one into, was it Russian roulette, maybe?
Oh, the
yeah, there was another thing like that in this song. Even though it was a Paul song, it was clearly Gene doing this part. And it wasn't bad, but it also didn't really feel like it was supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Like they copy pasted it from Sonic Boom and we're like, oh, that's cool. I don't know.
Just like the TNT lyric.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So interesting way to end the album and the song, I guess. Not particularly like whoa, but also not a fade out. So
yeah.
I'll give it that. At least it wasn't a fade out.
Oh God. So Javier says Right Here, Right Now is by far the best song out of the whole bunch. Yeah.
That's pretty sad.
All right, so that wraps up the album. David Smith, if you're still Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. You did get your entire rankings there. I thought I saw that number 10 and thought you was only up to 10. I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so that wraps it up. Overall rankings. What'd you give it?
I went with 4. This album has always been, overall, to me, a disappointment. The production is very sketchy. Personally, I find Hotter Than Hell to be more listenable from a production standpoint. Uh, the drums on this, they're quiet and muffled. The bass often overpowers the guitars. The vocals all just sound weird. Like I talked about earlier, like a weird frequency was removed from the vocal tracks, and it made them sound muffled and at times like grating even.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, however, I heard far less instances of autotune this time than on Sonic Boom. So either they were better about hiding it, or they didn't use it that much, which is good. Um, and then, as if the mix being weird wasn't enough, the master is honestly a tragedy. Uh, and I don't feel like I'm exaggerating that. Kiss has got a pretty good discography when it comes to mix and master. And now people describe Psycho Circus as being brick walled, but that is nothing, absolutely nothing compared to this album. The,
Nah.
the sound of this album is abrasive in several spots. It wore out my ears long before the album was over, to the point that I was having to turn my system down because it started to hurt. Uh, and as I mentioned earlier, there's even occasions when you hear digital distortion, which happens when you try to turn the master gain up too much, and is a huge mastering no-no. I'm preaching. Preach it. Yes. Honestly, I hope whoever made the decision to let the album sound like that, I hope they were fired.
Yeah. Burned at the stake.
Yes, literally. As for the songs, I feel like this really forgettable collection. I've said it before. Actually, Dad said it before. The songs on this album sound like Sonic Boom rejects.
Yeah.
I deny everything.
Yeah. None of them are out and out bad, but I'm not likely to be getting any of them stuck in my head after this. I mean, it's certainly not out of the question for the better ones like Hell or Hallelujah or Out of This World, or That's the Kind of Sugar Papa Likes, but not super likely, especially in comparison with the earlier albums like the Peter Criss solo album. I also noticed that several of the songs had a verse where, they'd hit a chord, sing a line, then play the song's riff, then hit a chord, sing a line, then play the riff again. It's a nitpicky complaint, but it happened pretty often throughout the album. So yeah, I see what you're doing there, have you? Okay, I'll stop complaining. The one really, really good thing about this album, for me anyway, is Tommy's solos. Gone are the callbacks to Ace's signature licks. Almost gone are the simplistic pentatonic solos. What we get here sounds more to me like Tommy just letting loose and really playing what he thinks ought to be there, and his character can just try and catch up. I've really appreciated the solos in every single one of these songs. So, overall, I'm glad we reviewed this album again, because honestly, I don't find much interest in listening to it otherwise. The songs are good, not great, but good, and they are worth listening to. I think, honestly, this album could have been everything that they said it was if it would have just been mixed and mastered better.
Absolutely. I would almost like to see this remastered and remixed and remastered more than Hotter Than Hell. I mean,
yeah.
What's even worse is, like, at least on the vinyl side, like, you could tell they tried to fix that brick walling so much, but yet it's a bit quiet. Like, the actual music is a bit quiet on the album. Like, hey, he wasn't complaining. So, but yeah, the overall volume on the vinyl version is lower compared to, say, like everything else. I mean, because I was listening to this thing at not my normal volume that I like to, but it was, but I could tell it was quieter than other things I listened to at that same level. Having the receiver on that same volume. But anyway, like with Psycho Circus, they at least fixed that because I admit the CD version of Psycho Circus and all, yeah, that it was like super loud and brick walled. But on the vinyl version, they definitely fixed it. It has more of that warmer sound, and it's not so ear splitting, and you're not deaf by the time you finish the album.
You're right.
David Smith says Gene said in an interview that Back to the Stone Age referred to how they recorded back in the day.
Oh, right, because they did record this on tape machines instead of Pro Tools.
So why do we need a song about how they recorded back in the day? Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it.
Miguel Thomas trying to call me. Well, now that Luke shut up, I'll give my ranking.
Sorry.
No. Well, looking at it now, I realized I probably gave it a little too much of a credible ranking now that I look at it, but this is what popped in my head at the time, so I just went with the middle road 5. If I can give it a 5-, can we do that? But
there you go. Yeah.
Let's see. What do I want to say that I'm not going to ruin True Confessions about? I'll just leave it at that because I'll start rambling and then I'll say something that I wanted to say for the True Confession. But I kind of touched on it with what I was saying about agreeing with the mastering and everything, and I will say this though about the album. It kind of, I don't know, maybe it kind of sucked that we didn't get any of those songs this time that have pretty much each member singing a verse, or the closest thing to that's probably Eat Your Heart Out with them doing the barbershop thing, but we didn't get that actual type of song where they're each kind of taking turns and everything on a verse, so that kind of took away from it too. But so we'll leave it at that for now. Let's see. A couple more True Confessions. Ronnie Parker, he says to end a studio career with this album, it's a disappointment. You could not be more correct. That's one of the things that always it's not going to sit well with me, and it doesn't now, and it probably never will, knowing that we always wondered, and I kind of had my suspicions even back then when after this came out that this was probably going to be the last album for some reason. They might not have known that, because I would hope that as a Kiss fan, again, just like how they announced that the tour is the final tour and you do something to theme that, like they would have made some sort of album. And I'm not saying the whole album's got to be like a goodbye letter to the fans, but there should at least be that one like perfect song that's like the very last song on the very last album to kind of say that true goodbye to the fans, thank you type thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be some big sappy ballad, but you know what I mean, something to get that true like feeling of closure, like this really is the last album. Rush sort of did that, even though we didn't know it, but you listen to The Garden on the last Rush album, I mean, that is just one of the most beautiful pieces of music and songs ever that I've heard, and it was just like from the heart. And people look back on it now and they realize like, wow, this is the last song on the last Rush album, and listen to the lyrics. I mean, it's basically that love note to the fans in a way too. But yeah, I mean, that's what I always envisioned the last Kiss record being, is knowing for sure, like, yes, this is our last record, and that because you had songs like Stand and We Are One, like those were along the lines of kind of like those love letter to fans, but I always expected something a little more than that. Especially on the very last album, and like I say, it should be the very last song. and it just sucks knowing that, I mean, here we are already, what, 12, almost 13 years now since this album came out, since we got the Last Kiss album, and we're not going to get another one in that amount of time, let alone just that one final, so it does suck, and we got to put up with it and just kind of, relive all the other albums that we all love more, and and then of course with these new live issues that come out, things like that, to kind of keep something, somewhat fresh going into your ears, even though it's songs we've all heard a lot, but obviously just, different live variations of them. So yeah, that Ronnie Parker, yeah, right on the head there. That's just a hard way to take them being the last album. It's one thing if the album just came out like 2 or 3 years ago and we're like, yeah, this is going to be it. But when you stop and think that, damn, it's been like 12 years already, and they probably could have spit at least one more out in 12 years. I mean, my God, they were spitting 2 to 3 albums out a year back in the 70s and whatnot. So, I mean, and I get like they kept saying they didn't want to rush anything, which I agree, but it almost sounds like some of this stuff was rushed, in my opinion. But and I will say, I was talking about how Sonic Boom, definitely kind of, like, I'll just say I think that does stick now. I think Sonic Boom is a better record than Monster now. Definitely more listenable. Because I know for a long time I was always saying, in my opinion, Monster is more of a listenable. You could just put the whole album on, just sit and listen to it. It's a good listen, but I gotta tell you, I think it's definitely changed for sure. Sonic Boom, like I said, there were songs this time on Monster that I was just getting tired of, and it gave you no inkling of emotion or no inkling of, like, catching your ear or even nodding your head the tiniest bit. And that sucks when that happens, especially when it's your favorite band in the world and what they mean to you and so many people. But, when you get crap like this, and, like the people in the chat, when we all have no choice but to feel this way about an album like this, it sucks. We don't want to, but again, we're not going to sit here and just be sucking the teat of the Kiss machine and thinking everything they put out is, platinum gold and all that crap or whatever. So that's where we're at. I don't know what got me on that tangent, but so I guess we'll get into the true confessions here. I know we got a few in the chat, so if anybody else is in the chat that has any, please drop them here in just a sec, or now, and we'll be right back with the true confessions. All right, we're back for the True Confession segment of the show. Do you want to start?
Sure. And we can ball in Javier's with mine. It's the same. This is easily, without question or hesitation, my personal pick for least favorite Kiss album.
Yeah, throw my name in the hat too.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. I don't hate it. I'm sure we can all get behind that too. It's listenable.
Yeah.
I just enjoy it far less than literally any of the other albums.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put the whole thing on very often. There's just gonna be a few songs here and there that I might play off of it.
Yep.
Well, we also had earlier.
Yes, Scott.
He says he wished they could have got some music writers in or something and make it at least one more album, because he does not like the thought of them going out. Yeah, sorry, Scott. I totally missed that. That's what we were just discussing too. Yeah, so Scott's on that same board.
Right. What they
Um,
need is a producer. Honestly, what they should do? Bob Ezrin, one more, just
mhm.
one more. He needs to yank out of them another Destroyer of Revenge,
And
and then
I feel like we were, all of us fans have been, complaining about that even before Sonic Boom. Like that's what, but it was like then you got that stubbornness of Paul that came out, and I could do it myself. I could do just fine. We'll do this. We'll do that. But then you want to sit there and compare it and say it's like the next Destroyer when you don't even have the guy that did Destroyer working on it with you.
right. And if you're capable of doing stuff like that on your own, sure, but the results don't really speak to that.
Destroyer wouldn't have sounded one iota the way it sounds if Kiss had done it themselves or
Right.
whatever. And then real quick, David Smith says just another in the catalog that it's Kiss, but won't listen anytime soon. Hope they do one more. Always holding out. I mean, Javier says this album is the equivalent of Spencer merchandise. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, David, I know, like, we all like to hold our breath and hope that, maybe there is hope that they'll surprise us and put another one out. But at this point, I'm not going to hold my breath. And, um, I know Paul's done his Soul Station thing. People have their feelings about that. I personally don't have an issue with it. God forbid Gene does another solo album that's
No.
anywhere near as bad as Asshole. But,
Yeesh.
most of the guys are doing good. I mean, Ace is putting out good music, and
Excuse me. Sorry.
Bruce is doing his thing, and yeah. So I mean, yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'd be just as tickled as every other fan if all of a sudden they were like, "Surprise! Here's our gift to you to say goodbye," and we do get something like that after all. But I just honestly don't see it, and I hate that.
Right.
And,
What Ronnie's saying here, I could honestly I could get behind that rather than them trying and probably failing to write new cool songs. Honestly, if right at the end of this they came out with Alive 5 Into the Road, I could get behind that.
yeah, I could see that happening. They'd almost be dumb to not do that. I mean, you put these Vegas things out and videos of that, so why not the final?
Yeah, the final
Whether
concert.
yeah, like whether it's a compilation of the tour or it's the actual last concert that is Madison Square Garden or whatever. I'm assuming it's still going to be
Right.
like that actual concert gets released by itself. That's great too, because I had that feeling back when they were on that last farewell tour when they did that Last Kiss pay-per-view. I'm sitting there watching that thing thinking this is the last Kiss show I'm ever going to watch.
Right.
And I'm like, oh. And so kind of that same idea, but yeah, it'd be more of a special feeling knowing that really is the last show, and again, a Blu-ray release and whatever. I mean,
Right.
hell, they could surprise the fans and write a damn song like what I'm talking about and do it live, and that's something they've like pretty much never done their whole career. Is like, here's a new song we've been working on, and we're going to play it live instead of, we get the album first, then they perform it. I don't think they've ever performed anything before it was recorded and released on an album. You know what I mean? Like, so they could always surprise us that way too, and give it to us that way, and then we'd have it as part of that album. And I don't know. There's just so many ideas that I know we all have, and wishful thinking, and it's like only to, if you could just put a bug in one of their ears or something to, to kind of get them on board with what all of us are thinking.
Right.
Yeah, Scott says throw him in that group too about being the least favorite album. He likes Hot in the Shade better. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with Hot in the Shade. Hot in the Shade is, I've been sticking up for that album since day one. And I know Luke does too once he comes back.
Yeah, I
Right.
definitely agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot in the Shade, while it feels unfocused, still better album.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good songs on there, and I have those memories of, like I spoke about, of getting the album, and that's another sad thing too. It's like you don't have as special of a feeling of a memory about, oh, when I went and bought Monster, or even Sonic Boom, like, but I have that kind of feeling for an album like Hot in the Shade, like, because it's that much more special than the stuff on there. I feel. Um, Scott's saying Paul did the same thing when Crazy Nights came out. Uh, he was saying it was a mix between Animalize and Destroyer. Yeah, I'm sure.
Wow.
All right. Well, that was some good conversation. Keep it coming if you got it, guys. But I don't. Did you? I don't even think you really got into your true confession, did you?
No, I said everything I had.
Oh, you did. That was it.
Yeah. I
All right.
just this is the worst album.
Yeah. Okay. Well, mine has a lot to do. Again, like a lot with what you were saying as far as production, but of course, on my end of things, it's always the drums. Mainly, I've been saying this forever, but in my opinion, Sonic Boom, Monster, and even the Vegas concert, I think the drums sound horrible. They we've had this talk in the past about Eric and how good his drums sounded on some of those past projects. Why don't they still sound that way? Things like that. But even for that matter, like they could have sounded closer to what some of Peter's stuff sounded like in the 70s, because I feel like a lot of that 70s stuff blows away the drum sound of any of those three projects right there. And I know Eric for a fact agrees, because I mentioned it to him in person at an expo, like, and I'm not being a jerk about it, but I was just like, man, I'm a drummer, my word don't mean crap, but my opinion, like, I'm just not a fan. And he's like, oh yeah, you can blame the guy that mixed the drums for that. He's like, I don't know what he was thinking. And I was like, well, I'm glad you at least agree, because they could have sounded so much better. And I know now he's using a bit of a different configuration. He's using more of the concert tom sound, and I'll admit they sound a little better, especially in the live setting, but it's still not to what I would like it to be, in my opinion. But it is, I guess, a step forward from what he was doing on those three albums there. Also, let's see, what else was I gonna say now that I'll probably forget. I don't know. Maybe we covered it all. If it pops in my head, I'll bring it up again. But I know we covered a lot there. So, Javier, your Kiss Room is amazing. I would love to see like a little video tour or something, man. Post a video tour. We could throw it on the show, and if you're more than welcome to come back on the show and give us a little tour on the show, and talk about some of your pieces and all that kind of stuff. We'd love to hear all that.
Definitely. Yeah, those pictures were awesome. I was in complete awe of how much stuff there was in there. That was great.
Yeah. Yeah, so you ought to think about that, Javier. We'd love to have you back on, and that'd be fun to do, just to show off your collection and talk about some of the stuff. That would be a blast, man.
Yeah.
We'll have to get in touch about that. So I think we're ready for the final tallies here then.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm honestly blown away. This did not come out at all the way I expected. All right, guys. So, of course, you've just watched the two of us talk about our rankings for all of this. Here in our chat, we've had both Scott Gosnell and David Smith give all of their rankings as well. Thanks to you guys. Javier, if you want to throw yours in there too, don't be afraid. Unless you think this album is not worth ranking, you're not necessarily wrong. We also had votes from Steve and Rochelle McGowan. Steve gave this album a 5 out of 10. His top three were Eat Your Heart Out, Hell or Hallelujah, and Long Way Down. Rochelle McGowan gave this a 9 out of 10. Her top three Long Way Down, Heller Hallelujah, and Freak. When we did this episode last time, we went through the entire discography. We got several votes. So mine from that last time, again, I gave this album a 4. My dad last time gave this a 5 out of 10. His top 3, Take Me Down Below, Heller Hallelujah, and Freak. Steve McGowan last time gave this a 5, and his top 3, All for the Love of Rock and Roll, Long Way Down, and Heller Hallelujah. Rochelle McGowan last time gave this a 9 out of 10, and her top 3, The Devil Is Me, Long Way Down, and Freak. Jay Rucker last time gave this album an 8.5, and his top 3, Back to the Stone Age, Heller Hallelujah, and Freak. We also had Jay's dad, who gave this album a 7.5, Robbie Stars, who gave this album an 8.5, and Brad Holderman, who gave this a 9 out of 10. So, putting all that together, our final... Hey?
Wow.
Yeah. Putting all that together, this album did end up with 6.1 average out of 10 overall, which makes this our second to worst as far as the average overall ratings. Hot in the Shade is the worst, which honestly makes me kind of mad.
Yeah, we got to get that changed.
Yes, Hot in the Shade ended up with a 6, just straight up 6.0 average, and this one 6.1. But the two of those easily the worst ranked. The Gene Simmons solo album even got 6.2. So
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Now I feel more ashamed of giving this thing a 5. I should have went a lot lower.
Right. Yeah. So let's see. In the last place, 12th place this time around, surprising, at least to me, The Devil Is Me in last place. In 11th place, Shout Mercy. In 10th place, Eat Your Heart Out. In 9th place, Back to the Stone Age. In 8th place, Last Chance. In 7th place, Wall of Sound. In 6th place,